After rejecting a classmate's love confession, 14-year-old Ko Yamori becomes increasingly depressed. Unable to sleep at night, he takes to wandering the streets at night. He meets with a beautiful girl named Nazuna, who identifies his nighttime restlessness as lack of satisfaction with life and decides to help him find it again. Taking him to her apartment to sleep, she insists they share a bed. Nervous, Yamori pretends to be deeply asleep. Nazuna reveals herself as a vampire and sucks his blood, finding him to be unusually tasty. Yamori confronts her, but she assures him he will not become a vampire, as the only way for a human to become a vampire is to fall in love with a vampire and then have that vampire bite them. This confession embarrasses her, so she drinks a beer. Yamori is relieved, but then disappointed once again. Unable to face returning to normal life and believing he has found something to finally excite him, he asks to spend more time with Nazuna with the goal of falling in love so he can become a vampire as well. While reluctant, Nazuna agrees to spend more nights together in exchange for his blood, and if he happens to fall in love with her, so be it. Nazuna once again embarrasses Yamori when she explains her blood drinkage is basically the same as having sex. However, Yamori reiterates his desire to become a vampire. He then embarrasses Nazuna when he offers some of his blood. The next night, Yamori becomes jealous when he discovers from Nazuna that she does drink blood from random people. As such, he offers to exchange their contact information, but she tells him she does not have a phone. However, she takes him to her apartment, where she shows him her vintage brick phone. Afterwards, she gets ready for sleep, and invites a nervous Yamori to join her. He initially refuses to let her drink his blood, but he lets her after she admits that she had actually been looking for him that night. The next night, he gives Nazuna a wrist receiver to communicate with him, who has the transmitter. Yamori then tells her from afar that they act like a couple, embarrassing her. In his school's rooftop, he calls her Nazuna-chan, and formally asks her be his friend. Later that night, while asking himself where Nazuna might be, the other transmitter in his wrist receives a signal, just as another girl, who has the other receiver in her wrist, appears beside him. Akira Ase tells Yamori about how she waited for him to contact her, but he never did. Nevertheless, she tells him that she is happy to see him. Yamori then recalls how Akira befriended him. The next day, Nazuna teases him about leaving to see another girl, but his reaction confirms her suspicion. After leaving, Yamori meets with Akira, but Nazuna appears and teases them. Nazuna then proves to Akira that their relationship is merely physical when she drinks his blood in front of her. In a cafe, Yamori tells Akira that he allows Nazuna to drink his blood due to his dissatisfaction with school. She tells him that she feels the same, and asks him to return to school with her. After Nazuna introduces herself, both her and Yamori leave. After Yamori asks Nazuna if she is angry, she leaves upset. Yamori trips on some stairs and then calls Nazuna, apologizing for seeing Akira in secret. However, Nazuna appears, and tells him that she was worried they would see each other less if he returned to school. Yamori tells her that he was unable to tell Akira that he cannot return to school due to his dream. A relieved Nazuna then drinks from the wound in his mouth. Before jumping away, leaving him speechless, while he ponders about what happened previously, and after witnessing a couple kissing nearby, Yamori assumes that he has already fallen in love with Nazuna. After she finds him, Yamori eagerly lets her drink his blood, but after he does not transform, Nazuna explains that he is confusing love with lust. After they both reveal it was their first kiss, Nazuna believes kissing is something friends do. The next night, Yamori invites Akira to hang out at Nazuna's apartment. There, they play video games, as Nazuna offers kisses to whomever can beat her. A flustered Akira discovers of Nazuna and Yamori's kiss, and tries to dissuade him from falling in love with a vampire. However, Nazuna explains that Yamori does not like her yet. After they play a dating sim, they lie down to sleep, despite Akira feeling weird with all of them sleeping in the same bed. After Nazuna explains their mutually beneficial relationship to Akira, Yamori finally tells her of how he will become a vampire if he falls in love with Nazuna. After Nazuna falls asleep, Akira tells Yamori that they can still be friends even if he becomes a vampire, also saying she will not give up in trying to make him return to school. In the next episode, Nazuna ends up in a bathhouse, where she instructs the clerk to alert her if her wrist receiver begins beeping. She bolts out of the bath when it does, meeting Yamori outside wearing nothing but a long jacket. After he has taken a bath himself, Yamori begins experiencing new feelings due to Nazuna's new look, which she teases him about. After she drinks his blood, they decide to rest, but unbeknownst to Yamori, they enter a love hotel. There, Nazuna explains that she can make an idea about what a person is thinking due to the taste of their blood, saying that she teases Yamori's emotions to get more taste. After leaving, Yamori gets jealous when Nazuna spots a person from which she has drank blood before, but she says he's the only one at the moment. They then head to her apartment, where Nazuna reveals she runs a home massage parlor. She massages Yamori free of charge, but focuses in the more relaxing pressure points of his body, before trying to drink his blood. However, they are interrupted by the arrival of a client. Yamori is forced to greet her, and after he finds Nazuna playing in her room, she promises to give him a kiss as a reward for attending her in her place. Kayasumi Shirakawa recalls the first night she took Nazuna's massage services. Back in the present, Yamori undertakes her massage. After learning his age, Kayasumi asks him his motivations, and he explains he got fed up with school, and just wants to enjoy his nights. Kayasumi then suddenly realizes how she is genuinely unhappy at her work, and breaks down crying. A worried Yamori then refuses to let her answer a call from her boss, and to make her feel a near-death experience thrill, he has Nazuna throw her from her window, saving her just in time. Yamori apologizes for the scare, and tells Kayasumi his and Nazuna's secret, saying he wants to become a vampire. He then takes her to walk down the middle of the street, from which she gets a sense of freedom. She thanks Yamori for alleviating some of her stress, and encourages him to achieve his goal. However, Yamori tells her he will turn her into a vampire as well, delighting Kayasumi, and embarrassing Nazuna. Sometime later, they attend a night pool resort, where Yamori angrily pulls Nazuna away from two guys hitting on her. Sensing his jealousy, Nazuna flies him to another pool, where they enjoy themselves and she drinks his blood. Next night, after running into Kayasumi, Yamori is approached by a blonde, slender woman, who flirtatiously talks and teases him. After she tells him she is bored with her recent life, Yamori tries to console her by saying they are the same. She then jumps and embraces him, ready to suck his blood. However, Nazuna saves him just in time, as she explains she should just drink all of his blood and kill him. However, another vampire captures him and takes him atop a building, where 3 other vampires are. They introduce themselves as Nico Hirata, Midori Kohakobi, Hatsuka Suzushiro, and Kabura Honda, as Nico tells him to choose amongst them, saying his choice will make him fall in love and convert him. However, he rejects all their advances in favor of Nazuna. Meanwhile, Sari Kikyo, the blonde vampire, tells Nazuna to stop playing with Yamori if she does not intend to mate with him, but she says she actually wants to, stunning her. Yamori keeps spurning the vampires, finally yelling that it will be Nazuna who conquers him. Just as she arrives, seeing her newfound interest to leave descendants, the girls accept Yamori, who says he will fall in love with Nazuna, no matter how long it takes.